Mr.
Bond.
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 Bond. James Bond.
Hello all, welcome back to another episode of the Ultimate Bondcast, another Bondcast movie review. Really excited for this one. I'm Chris and I'm here as always with Mike. How are you, Mike? You okay?
Oh, I'm really good, Chris, and great to be back on the review. It feels like we've been a bit, haven't we? I don't know why, but it just feels longer than normal, strangely enough.
Yeah, I think we missed one a couple of weeks ago and it's been like a month since we've done one of these. It's crazy, really. It feels like longer.
What exactly are we going to do when we run out of movies? I mean,
I was thinking about this. I was like, maybe like every episode of like James Bond Jr. gets an entire review episode. We're going to have to start reading the books again, reviewing the game, something.
We're not experiencing famine on content. On a serious note, we've got plenty of good ideas to come up with.
Maybe we'll just start from scratch. You know, like the Forth Road Bridge, how they say once you finish painting it, they have to go back and start painting it again. And we'll just go back and start reviewing Dr. No again.
Here's the real super thing, though, Chris. I've said to you, For Your Eyes Only, joke aside, is my favourite Roger Moore film. For me personally, I'm sure it's a strong one. But this is my favourite one, so I'm so excited it's coming up.
Oh, I'm really pleased, mate. Yeah, I loved this movie. Really, really pleased. It was a fun one, a really fun one. But before that, let's just dip into the world of Bond news. I'm going to throw it over to the Bond News studio for our Bond News update.
Good luck, then. Studio's in, mate. Studio's in.
Before you go, the collector says hello. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Good to see you.
Nice to see you, mate. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we can catch you up in a couple of weeks as well. That'd be nice. So, yeah, that'd be great. But on to Bond news, guys. Bond news. There's a little bit happening. Now, we'll start with the obvious, okay? Because First Light, let's face it, we are, what, about 42 days away now, aren't we? Something like that.
Long.
Cannot come quick enough. However, some very, very kind, this is not something we lay claim to at all, but I feel it's important to show you this. Some very kind Bond contributor has created what we can expect of Bond First Light, like as a conglomerate document. So I'm going to show you what we've got here so you can understand it from there.
Yeah.
We can take it in turns, actually, Chris, if you want to read it. So,
I can read.
Go for the top, mate. So this is what we can expect from First Light if you know absolutely zilch about it.
So do you want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
After losing his parents on a climbing expedition when he was 11, this version of Bond rabble-roused through several boarding schools before ending up in the Royal Navy.
Which is a good literary following, obviously, that we know that's not true.
Close enough, definitely.
Yeah. The story is set in the modern day and begins with a 26-year-old Bond who's picked up by MI6 after an heroic act during an Iceland mission, which I feel like is going to be, if it's what I'm expecting, I think this is going to be an absolute spectacle of a mission, and it won't just be a cutscene, do you reckon? It'll be an actual mission we play as a pre-00 Bond.
Yeah, it'll be that first mission that doubles as like your like tutorial. So you'll do the mission, but it'll also be like, oh, use the left stick to move forwards and press A to jump. That's what it'll. I definitely see that.
Indeed.
His mentor, Greenway, played by The Walking Dead's Lenny James, thinks he's a risk, but reluctantly agrees to train him.
It's great to see him have a mentor. That never happens in Bond, does it? He's always a pro. Yeah. Which would be good. Yeah. We know that Rogue Agent 009 is a target, or his initial target, and is described as a master manipulator, which would be quite exciting to see. I think we might have spotted him in the trailer. I don't know if it's him, but that's what it's a guy in a big coat, sort of taunting Bond, I think.
Can I put something on the line here? I think 009 is not the main villain of this game, and maybe a lot of people say that already, but like. He's so like in all of the promotional materials that like 009's the bad guy, 009's the bad guy. I'm like,
yeah, it's a red herring, maybe.
Yeah, he is a bad guy, but he's not the bad guy.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah. So yeah, you're next, actually, Chris. Go for it.
I will. I'm just going to give a shout out to Lorenzo first. How are you, Lorenzo? Good to see you here, mate.
Hey, Lorenzo. Great to see you, buddy.
So Bond will travel to several locations, including England, Slovakia, and what looks like Vietnam.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. So quite diverse tactics with locations. That's exactly what a Bond film should be. Bond game, in this case. We are going to encounter familiar characters from the franchise, including MQ, who is an older gentleman in this version, and Moneypenny. I might just capture the next bit because Moneypenny is considered the field analyst in First Light. So she's actually sort of in the Secret Service before Bond joins, effectively. So that's quite interesting.
The man in the chair, kind of. She's an analyst.
Yeah, I think so.
At some point, Bond and Greenway will be tied up in a pit full of crocodiles.
Live and let die?
Well, yeah, maybe that's how he learns. So you can stand on these guys.
Yeah, just run. It's fine. They don't really bite, you know. Or maybe he did take what was his name's advice, Teehee, and he actually used a pencil to get out of them. You know, right behind the back of his eyes.
Maybe he did. Well, he won't have met him yet.
Lenny Kravitz is playing our villain called Baumer, and he seems to be owner of that said crocodile pit.
I'm sure we saw Lenny Kravitz in the trailer, didn't we?
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure he will even be a villain. It might just be a side villain. Maybe they're keeping it all under wraps. Maybe.
One of those people that like he needs to get information from over the course of the game. You know.
He's
a like a side villain or something.
A boss level mission.
Yeah, he's a boss. Bond teams up with Agent Charlotte Roth in London, with Roth an agent of DGSE, France's MI6 equivalent. She's also after 009.
That's good. Which also leads to the fact that he might not be the main villain. So
I might as well come on with the next one then, who's also about Gemma Chan is voicing and lending her likeness to Selena Tan. Oh no, sorry, it's somebody different. I saw a woman and I was like, oh, it must be the same person. MI6 tactical simulation. Sorry, mate, I've stolen your bullet point. She's an original First Light character who oversees a program designed to test and refine the skills of MI6's most promising recruits.
Interesting take there. But what we'll find as well, Bond is a little bit funnier than usual. I guess that's what young Bond might be like before his body count gets reached. As in, are we the baddies? The sort of level of a seasoned 00, shall we say, from there for you.
I'm happy with that.
Oh, mate, I can't wait. I cannot tell you. I've got my pre-order in. My butterflies are sizzling in my belly. I have to see this game when it comes out.
So does Lorenzo, by the looks of things. He's really excited for it.
Lorenzo, we will cover this as well. So gladly contribute. It'd be amazing, mate, from there. The last bit of Bond news, only a small bit, I would like to say, not so much happy birthday, but it was Dalton's birthday. They're just a month while we're off the air. 80 years old. When was he? 80? Seriously.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like the last thing I really remember seeing him in was Hot Fuzz, and he didn't look like he was older than like mid 50s at that point. It's crazy that he's 80. Crazy.
We actually have new technology now, Chris. We can actually get his comments on the screen all the time. You notice that? It's very cool.
Oh, that is really cool.
I do like that. We can even make it just a little bit bigger for the guys there. So
does it stay on there permanently or? Yeah,
it's great. I'm really, really cool. And we can see that the collector said he's looking forward to earning his 00 number. Mark, aren't we all?
Mate, I'm going to earn that number easy. Well, I'm definitely going to put it on easy because I can't handle complicated video games anymore.
No, and that's a critical part of us being millennial gamers, isn't it? Really, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's Pierce Brosnan's birthday in May as well. According to Lorenzo. We'll have to cover that as well.
Interesting, but my friends, that is all for Bond News.
Awesome.
God, changing the studio lock is very hard. I'm a bit travel sick right now. You know?
I know. I bet. Well, thank you for rushing over to the studio and giving us all that news.
No problem.
We're back. We're here for the main event now. We're here to talk about For Your Eyes Only, which is Roger Moore's 5th outing as James Bond. Can you believe it? 5th outing. It's just crazy. And it's almost gone.
Is it possible to say, like, Roger Moore becomes a more seasoned pro, but he's always good? So
yeah, he is.
I think if you imagine, so Connery's 5th movie, right? It was You Only Live Twice. Am I right in saying? And there was a notable step up in Connery over his tenure, but Roger Moore just stayed consistent, like always good. I think
there was I think for Connery there was a notable like caring less as the films went on as well. But Roger Moore always brings 100%.
Yeah, consistently bar high. You know,
Yeah.
and you can be in a position where you love it or hate him, but he always delivers the right performance. So great.
Yeah, and I think I've grown to appreciate. I think we both have, probably. I don't want to speak for you, but like grown to appreciate Roger Moore even more, having done these sort of movie reviews recently.
You more appreciate Roger Moore.
I more appreciate Moore.
Right. Okay. I'll just hearing that for a minute.
I, Sir Roger Moore, appreciate him.
Well, on that basis, I suggest we go out the cliches and we do the
He's better at this than we are. So we're going to talk about For Your Eyes Only. I'm going to throw it over to you in a second to give me your initial thoughts, but I just want to give a quick overview of the movie. So, For Your Eyes Only, after disposing of a familiar-looking face, Bond is sent to recover a communication device known as the ATAC attack, which went down with a British spy ship as it sunk. Bond must hurry, though, as the Russians are also out for the device. On his travels, he also meets Melina Havelock, whose parents were brutally murdered. Bond also encounters Aristotle Christatos and Milos Colombo. Each of them are, I'm going to say Aris from now on. Each of them are accusing the other of having links with the Russians. Bond must team up with Melina, solve who the true ally is, and find the ATAC before it is too late.
Okay, well, I think the thing to take from this, though, right, is I said to you earlier, it's my favourite Bond film in Roger Moore's era. However, I don't think it has the most compelling villain in it. That's the one downfall. Everything else I love about this film. I don't know how you feel about it initially.
Yeah, so it's a very enjoyable Bond movie. It's kind of it kind of gives you a bit of whiplash if you watch it quite quickly after Moonraker, because it is so different to Moonraker. You can see the course correct written on every screen, you know, like every single image on this movie is as far from Moonraker as they could possibly get. And I'm sure we'll get into that.
I think it's that back to basics feel, isn't it? Because if you think about it, they've always gone a little bit too far in maybe the, I don't want to say sci-fi, it's the wrong word, but maybe the too extravagant era. And they've done it a few times compellingly. I mean, you think about, we did You Only Live Twice, which was a spacey, volcanic, which is a great film, by the way. They went straight back to basics when I Majesty's Secret Service, sort of lack of gadgets, more brutality, more physicality. Yeah. They do it again here, straight after Moonraker, but I think they do it again with Die Another Day into Casino Royale as well. So they always tend to go back to basics and choose Fleming inspiration. That's what I feel has happened. You know,
can I tell you what the only difference is between this one and the other two that you mentioned?
Yeah,
the other two were two different Bond actors, whereas this one does that crazy course correct with the same Bond actor. So I feel like that sets it apart for me. But I know, and so I really enjoy the movie. Really enjoy it. Let's get into it anyway. So, like, I think I want to talk about the usual things that we go through, but I'd love to start at the beginning of the movie first. This pre-title sequence that is so fascinating to me. What's your thoughts on the pre-title sequence?
Right. Okay. So, look, the thing is, you could actually align this movie to being a direct sequel to Majesty's Secret Service in a strange way, couldn't you? I do like this. I know that Roger Moore himself wanted to align his character to the previous Bonds, even though he always has been the same Bond. I think he wanted to create direct continuity, and the fact that he already alluded to his wife in another film, to actually go back to the gravesite in what I think was it about 12 years since Tracy died. That's a really nice nod, I think, because love or hate Tracy, she's an imperative part of Bond's character. So to have that was wonderful. And it starts with a great little tone. However, goes a bit mad straight after that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
And then we get the return of, let's be honest, it's Blofeld.
Man in wheelchair.
Man with wheelchair, neck brace, bald head. Brace. You know, mad gadget on his wheelchair. It's Blofeld. I don't care what anyone says. I know it's legal rights, but that was basically a legal, forgive my FU to Kevin McClory. That's why they did it.
Yeah,
because Spectre rights were still waiting, weren't they, to be released at that point?
It also spawns the greatest quote in the history of Bond, which is I'll buy you a delicatessen in stainless steel.
Yeah. do you know where this comes from? Did you look into it?
I did actually, yeah, because I was like, what on earth is that about?
I never understood it.
I even heard it until this time.
Yes.
But it was like, I heard it was like Cubby Broccoli said it was like something that gangsters did, that like they would like offer like delicatessens and things like that, shops as like payment. And I was like, that's so dumb.
It's stainless steel, though.
It's stainless steel. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't want it staining, do we?
I haven't visited many delicatessens in my time, but not one has ever been stainless steel.
I mean, I tell you what, I would walk out if it wasn't. I'd walk
Bar's been set. Not doing it.
Get out of here.
But then we have a rather bizarre helicopter fight or chase, however you want to put it. It's Bond imprisoned in a remote control helicopter, which feels a little bit outlandish. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, so like I'll go. Yeah, I'll give you my thoughts on this pre-title sequence, and I will build up to the helicopter. I enjoy the Tracy moment, and I almost feel like even if you weren't trying to link it to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, it's a really, really good way for you to explain why Bond would then go and kill Blofeld. Because if you hadn't seen the other movie or you didn't understand, it's a really easy way of going, this is his motivation for doing what he's about to do. So like I totally get that, and it's a lovely moment. The whole sequence with the helicopter though is so weird. And when he picks him up and drops him into the chimney, it just tears into like, this is a bit too silly.
Isn't that Roger Moore though? It is. It's the only Bond that could do it. Let's be honest.
100%. Yeah, and it's the only time he ever meets Blofeld in any movie.
How is it that Connery met him, Lazenby fought him, and then Roger Moore killed him?
And it's clearly the Telly Savalas. For me anyway. I know it's probably not. I'm sure it's not him playing it, but like that's who you picture, isn't it? The Telly Savalas.
That's the neck brace and all that. It's a nod, isn't it? You know. I would just like to draw you guys' attention, by the way. So we've now got an opportunity to run the poll while we're doing our review as well. So just simply, just in the chat, just put 1, 2, or 3 based on the results, what you think For Your Eyes Only was, and we'll see where we are by the end of the show, which would be pretty cool from there. So that poll will run all the way through. Sorry, Chris, I saw you funding a little bit there, but carry on.
About Blofeld, and my cat appears. I've ascended to my evil genius, to my like villain status now.
Do we go into villain on that basis? No, you've just said those words.
Yeah, I guess we could touch upon villain. Like, I mean, there's nothing. Let's just talk about the song after the pre-title sequence, and then we can go on to that.
Oh no! Before we do, can I raise the fact that the Bond score is the best Bond score in this movie?
I'll counter that with no. No, it definitely isn't.
The disco, dum 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 dum. I loved it. I'm sorry, it's great.
I mean, it's a fun soundtrack. It's so 70s.
Oh yeah,
it's an 80s movie. Like there's so much funk in it and disco and
disco. It's exactly disco. You know, I really liked. I preferred it to the accordion, sort of softer Roger Moore one, and the Donaldson one. I really liked this one more.
Good.
But, hey, that's me.
Enjoy it. The song, I know it's a fan favorite. I could take or leave the song. It's all right.
I think that's the best word. It is all right. It is not a bad song. That is better. You know,
a good job with it, and it's the first time we see the singer on screen. She's strikingly beautiful. You can see why they wanted to put her in it.
Fantastic, actually. Yeah, I do agree with that. With Sheila Easton, obviously, she was a prime 80s artist. She was clearly popular at that point, so therefore it made sense to cast her into a role for the song. It's by no means a bad song. It's not the best one. So, should we go there?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Sorry, you wanted to talk about the villain. Let's go for villain. So we are talking about we're talking about well, I can't remember his name now. Aris.
It was Christatus.
Yeah, Christatus. What was Aris? Yeah, Aris Christatus.
Yeah, and I don't know. not a very compelling villain in my eyes. I don't know if you guys think that on the chat or looking back at this video, but he's not a Blofeld, he's not a Stromberg, he's not a Drax. There's not really a lot going for him, apart from the fact that they do create him as a bit of a mirage. We don't really realise he's the villain, there is, until it's too late in the movie. So in some ways, I like that, but I don't think that's a merit to him. I think it's a merit to the writers, you know?
I think that's fair. I feel slightly more positive towards the villain than that, but I do totally get all of those points. I liked that he was understated, he was believable, and I did like that we didn't know that he was the villain until the reveal.
Yeah,
so, no crazy elaborate plan. There was no evil Leia. I just loved that he attempted to frame his rival, and he wasn't immediately noticeable as a. And I will say,
you mean the Al Pacino lookalike guy?
Yeah. Columbo, yeah.
Coppola was brilliant, to be honest.
I was going to do an Al Pacino impression, and I would have butchered it.
Oh no! Oh, come on! I want to hear this. Go on.
No, like you can do like a hoorah, that kind of got a great ass, like. It's terrible.
I can't see him doing that in a Bond film, but there we go. you know.
I really love Julian Glover as an actor. I've met him, got his autograph. He's an amazing actor. Year after he was General Veers in The Empire Strikes Back, and
right.
Where he was in
maybe it was a missed opportunity with him as a Bond villain then to not do him quite the same in the right glory, possibly.
Yeah,
I don't put it down to him being a bad actor, just not a very compelling character.
I agree with you. He probably wasn't the most compelling villain. We're used to big characters as villains at the moment in the Moore franchise, and he wasn't.
Yeah. Larger than life, psychotics, taking over, destroy humanity type people. That's what the Moore era predominantly resolved around. However, you could argue they've done it twice in the previous two movies. So to maybe go a different direction is actually a fair outlook, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and I want to just bring in the collector there as well, saying that he felt Moore was a more Fleming take on Bond in this movie. Agree about the ski chase and the dark. I'm sure we'll talk about the lock kill later on, but definitely agree with all of those points.
I agree, and yeah, it just shows that Roger Moore wasn't just a jokey Bond, despite the sort of connotations people give him. There was a lot more to it.
Let's talk about Moore then in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'll go first if you want for this one.
Yeah.
I feel like Moore hit his peak in this movie. Maybe I feel that way because it starts to go downhill a little bit after this one. Not hugely negatively, but he's probably equally good in this one and The Spy Loved Me and Moonraker. But
yeah,
it feels like this is. I'm going to probably sound.
Go on. I think I know what you're going to say.
It should have been Roger Moore's last Bond movie.
Yeah, and if you look at the details in the logs, it may have been at the time.
Yeah, I think he should have been. He looks.
He had finished. He had finished a 5-film contract, so he was on a rolling contract, if you like, now at this point, where he didn't necessarily have to stay. And we do know from the backlog as well that Brosnan was lined up as a potential replacement for the next film already. So a very strange series of events surrounding him. But
there's a lot behind the scenes, isn't there?
It should have possibly been the last Moore movie. Although that being said, he is quite good in Octopussy, but I agree, it's not a strong run, you know.
No. And I'm not saying it because I dislike. I mean, I'm not Octopussy's biggest fan, but I'm a fan of View to a Kill. But I still think this should have been his last Bond movie.
I agree with that.
But yeah, anyway, I think he's great again in the film. But I'm going to throw it over to you. What's your views?
Right, so look, I definitely agree. And we said that he's consistently hits a good level on a bar. That's always confident, but it's definitely fair to say that he feels more at ease in a more grounded film. I think he wanted that in certain ways at times to prove that he was still the same James Bond we've seen with the previous two actors. So I think that was a nice touch. I think he's very good in this role. He owns the camera. He just is suave in the every essence of the word. You could almost soak up in the Roger Moore charisma in this film, and I think where he goes into things like little casinos and some of the backdrops, he just owns the stage so well, and this is probably why it's one of my favourite Moore films. It really is a blessing to watch him in this film.
He just brings so much gravitas, doesn't he, when he's on screen? He's just he commands the camera, and he does it. He's done it since the first scene in Live and Let Die, and he hasn't let up, and he will continue to do it throughout his tenure, even when he probably outgrows the role a little bit or ages out of the role a little bit. You still believe him because he's so comfortable in those shoes. And for anyone that says that Roger Moore is their favorite Bond, after watching these the way that I have, I can't argue with them. Like, you're totally right in feeling that way, because he's so good as Bond.
I think one thing that is really good though, Chris, if I can just inject one thing, he does really well. Now, the age thing's very sensitive in this movie, and the fact that the Bond girl, the young Bond girl BB, it's handled in a great way. It could be almost like cringe, going, "Oh no, he's too old," or "She's too young," or both, or whatever. But the way it's handled with Roger Moore, almost like, "Put your clothes on and I'll buy you an ice cream." I like that. That was really, really well handled for the 80s, which, as we know, was the AIDS era, really, wasn't it? That's when it was quite prominent in the news and everything. So I found it a rather strange move to cast such a young Bond girl at that time, but they did handle it quite well. I think Moore played it quite well as well. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I agree. I think the reason they put her in there was because that fed that story well, and he wanted to get close to her without actually doing anything. She plays it well, really well, and we might as well segue into Bond girls then while we're here. Should we talk a little bit about Melina?
Right, Melina is wonderful. I tell you now, I genuinely like the grounded Bond girl. I liked the fact that they have the little CV2 chase. They take the Lotus out of the equation very quickly, of course, with their security system that blows the car up. But the fact that Melina has a little backup Citroen is wonderful. Citroen. She's a bowcaster with a crossbow. She is a woman out for vengeance. She dives. She fights. She is no damsel, not a damsel at all. She is a very, very capable. I suppose you could put her down as a sort of vigilante, I suppose, in that way, but a personal vigilante. But I think she's wonderful.
She really is. And she's strikingly beautiful as well, and we'll say it about every Bond girl because they are. But she's beautiful. She holds the screen well. She acts well. We really are into that place now, Mike, where the Bond girls really can act. They're not people who've just been thrown on screen for their beauty and they can't act. These girls can act, and it's really good to see that in these Bond movies, the girls are given more to do. She holds her own against Roger Moore. She's fantastic in this film. Really think she's great.
Just want to call out as well. Hello to Mark on the Facebook chat.
Hi, Mark. Good to have you
joining us. And yeah, he's right. It's an absolute belter of a film.
Brilliant, isn't it?
From there. So, but you know, the fact is, there's two Bond girls, isn't there? There's her and BB, and one's the more senior role, one's the more junior standing role. Evidently, Melina is that first person, really, isn't she?
She is. She's the main Bond girl. It's great to have her there. I think she's brilliant. We might as well touch a little bit upon what's her name as well. I can't even remember her name now.
Are you on about the teacher?
Liesel, the governess or whatever she was, the countess.
Oh, Cassandra.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan's wife.
It was Brosnan's wife, which was also why he was in the eye line of Cubby at the time to potentially be Bond, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Apparently he had screen tested at this point as well.
Yeah, well, I think he wanted it, didn't he? They were moving on Pierce Brosnan. It was just the Remington Steele contract he couldn't get out of. Well, that's what I think it was anyway.
We'll dig into
one of those
that
sliding doors moments, isn't it?
It could have gone either way. It could have been a totally different franchise. Worse or best, better. I don't know. I'm not judged, but it would have been a definitely very different world for that. if I can say though as well, yeah, Cassandra is a real nice addition. She's a very, very minor addition to the movie, but she makes quite a lasting impact. I think. You know, she's British. Her accent slips.
Liverpool.
Yeah. And even he's like, Manchester. She's like, no, Liverpool. You know, and I think that was wonderful. But
yeah, it really was.
The death was quite brutal. I think
it is brutal, isn't it?
I like the fact it was brutal. I don't like the fact that she died. Of course, you know.
Another link back to On Her Majesty's Secret Service in a way as well, because it's Bond with a countess on a beach. In an open tuxedo shirt and trousers, kicking some guy's gun out of his hand. You know,
similar kind of lighting.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. And the boogie bit where Locke's coming after Cassandra and Bond and all that, and I think there's another guy, isn't there? I think the tension really builds on that one because Bond is out of control. He can't stop this other than doing what he can do, and it's quite nice to see Roger Moore being a bit more of an infallible Bond, you know, with a level of loss that comes with it. It adds a bit of depth to the character. I thought.
Yeah, it does, and it all then links back to the first scene where he's laying those flowers on his wife's grave. It just shows that he is fallible and that he has lost.
We've got some comments there. Mark's mentioned from the collector that she's so naturally beautiful and capable, and the car chase is particularly fun. And
the Citroen car chase, is awesome, isn't it? It is awesome.
And then Mark's also said, for such a small part, she really made an impact. And obviously that's Cassandra or
she did.
Lisa, whatever. You know, it's lovely. It really is lovely. It's also quite interesting because she was a plot leak to get to Locke, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Through Columbo, which is quite nice. So again, this film does have a twist in storyline. It's definitely a spy thriller. It's not despite having high action points, it's not a thrill-seeking jumping ride like The Spy Who Loved Me. It is quite a dark tale, you know.
It is. Let's talk a little bit about that because let's talk a little bit about like the course correct, which is what this film was. You know, like this film was so obviously a move away from Moonraker, which I think is a shame because I love Moonraker. And
there is a fair share that like it. You know,
but it I can see why they did it. There was, people were saying that all these movies were gadgets and spectacle, and there was nothing behind that. And I think that's exactly why they blew up the Lotus at the beginning, because they were saying,
take that away.
We're taking that away. He's not going to be relying on that. And this film is stripped down, and I really enjoy it as a result of that. And I can enjoy both types of Bond movie, but that's clearly why they made this film. It feels like On Her Majesty's Secret Service crossed with From Russia with Love, with a little sprinkle of of other movies in. But On Her Majesty's Secret Service and From Russia with Love, I definitely get in this film. I think Locke is Red Grant. That's exactly what I feel. The mute, almost
hardened assassin.
Exactly. All of the ski scenes.
With a dash of John Lennon. With a dash of John Lennon, of course, about how he looks. It's
exactly.
Almost uncanny. Or is it the Gallagher brothers from Oasis? I don't know. You tell me.
Well, maybe they preempted the Gallagher brothers. I don't know. But I don't know how you feel about the change in tone.
I welcome it. I'm one of these sort of Bond fans that, like you, I can enjoy either tone. However, I do feel like when they've gone too far, I like the back to basics approach for the next film. They don't have to stay there, but I think just to have a change in pace and tone and style, and certainly I do sometimes like a less reliant gadget Bond. I do like the finding his way, with his instincts rather than gadgets. I mean, we saw it in Ski Chase. He had nothing. He didn't even have his gun at one point. He got blasted out his hand. So to come out on top with nothing but his skis. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Before we go to the Ski Chase, though, can I touch on the CV2 chase just ever slightly?
Do it. I love the CV2
because
chase.
I love how Amelia was a good driver. Well, she was all right, wasn't bad, wasn't good, but she was a capable driver. But the fact that she gets the car tipped halfway, and Bond's don't mind if I drive to you. and he turns this. Can I say? I know we're a bit of a family-friendly channel. He turns this shit heap into a really cool car.
Yeah, he does. He does. Didn't he say that? I think I read somewhere that Roger Moore said that was like his favorite car in all
I don't
the
blame him.
movies. You know, like I might be wrong, but like I think that was what he'd said. And
I don't blame him actually. I did enjoy it, and I think, like you said, it's a good idea to put Bond in something that's not considered stylish, not considered fast, but to then outpace the other people that clearly have stronger, faster cars.
Yeah, it's his training, isn't it? You know, it shows that he's trained to do that. I love it.
I suppose there's moments in the Bond movies where this has happened elsewhere. I mean, I think some moments that come to mind is like No Time to Die with the Toyota, Hilux chase and stuff like that.
I was thinking the bus in Live and Let Die.
Yeah, that's also a cracking example. It's not exactly a pursuit vehicle. It's Bond back to sheer skill and training and his instincts to get away from that run, really. So,
I mean, collector's spot on. It's about the only Bond car any of us are ever going to own. But yeah, I love that.
it's actually that bit. I bet that's gone for auction some serious money
it's
now.
Probably
Isn't
really
it?
hard to get rid at a decent price now. But
who would say? I dare to say it's probably more expensive than the DB5 if you actually.
It probably is nowadays. Definitely the DBS. I know that. But it was so fun to watch, though. It's one of my favourite car chases, and the music as well. The Bond theme that accompanies it is wonderful. The car chase music is great. You know, and I want to end on the ending because I think that's a good way to finish, like the ending of the movie. But so let's do a little bit of like a round robin of other bits that we want to talk about.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
I want to talk about John Glenn. So
okay,
he's the director. It was his first Bond movie. How do you think he did?
Well, really well. The cinematography was brilliant in this one. If you think about the ski chase sequences that were done there, they're sort of it's like they're taking not certainly bad lessons, but they're learning to adapt their approach with their cinematography. When you look at the ski chases from The Spy Who Loved Me, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, you know, that tone to the way it's sort of like you're with Bond. The camera weaves, it moves, it's dynamic.
Yeah,
Every now and again, it will slide to the side, and we'll see the villains only a fraction behind him. And then we see that he has to put the ski stick in the tree to knock the guy off his bike. I just think they did that so incredibly well. The tension was there. You know Bond's going to make it out because there's another film, but you're not quite sure how he's going to make it out. And that's part of the thrill of the ride. So I think his directing, his action pieces, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
How often have I been on this channel at the movie reviews and moaned about how like the action felt really static and slow? And it makes such a difference when you've got a director that like understands scale and can film action and can film like speed in a scene and show speed in a scene.
Yeah, and done so well. I mean, they're not actually moving particularly fast, but the way the action comes across, it feels it. I mean, you imagine doing that yourself. It's going to feel damn sight faster than it looks on screen, isn't it? It's
another really good example of Cubby Broccoli picking out another editor from previous Bond movies and giving him a chance, because they did it with, I think, Peter Hunt, you know, the On Her Majesty's Secret Service director. I think he was an editor in the first films. So John Glenn, this is actually his first ever movie, not only his first Bond movie. He'd done some TV work, but like, and do you realise that if you ignore Never Say Never Again, so if you only look at canon, he's the only man to direct a Bond movie in the 80s. Like he did the next 5 movies.
That's a statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that is his Andy Warhol moment, isn't it? He goes in history for that. You know,
it is. So yeah, he is the 80s for James Bond. Is John Glenn? So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
If I'm honest, now this is probably the naivety in me slightly. I never actually realised it was his first direction film. So the fact that, not being funny, it wasn't blown me away, but I was sort of like, I didn't really come across it in the previous movies. I take that as a merit to his style. He's blended into the history of Bond. He hasn't just gone, I'm going to do it my way, but I'm going to go completely outlandish, you know?
Yeah, it really does. And it even though it's a more understated movie, it still balls to the wall in a lot of places.
Absolutely.
It needs to be, you know.
It's constant, isn't it? I mean, can I just pick on one of the action pieces as well that I really enjoyed? It wasn't high. Yeah. It wasn't high. However, it was the diving sequence with the submarine.
Yeah, sorry, we haven't even touched upon the water sequences. I love a good water sequence in a Bond movie.
Oh, it makes a Bond film, don't you think?
Especially when it's topical.
Chase. Yeah. We get every single weather in this film.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
Don't
We do. Yeah, it's hot and it's cold in this film.
We get the rather tragic British weather. We get boiled to death, and then we get frozen. You know, it's kind of everything that you could possibly want, isn't it?
That is bonkers. Bonkers.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring in Mark's comment here as well.
Oh, yeah, Mark.
The pleasure of meeting him last year. That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
I'm very jealous. I would have loved that.
We are well gelled, Mark. So, yeah, it's incredible. But, look, I mean, the way the underwater filming was shot, sorry. Now, it felt like, I don't know how you look at this. Maybe it's because I had a remastered Blu-ray version. However, it looks crystal. It looks beautiful.
Your Blu-ray.
You with your standard definition.
I was watching it
over
on
there.
Laserdisc, mate. I was on VHS. I'd recorded it off the TV when I was 9.
But maybe I'm biased for that reason. However, it felt like, though, that the way it was shot, I'm going to talk about the quality of the shooting, was done incredibly well. It felt crystal, the blueness of it, the sort of, I don't know, the danger element as well. The fact you had a few sharks coming around, and then you had the guy in the big deep diver, you know, comes out with the claws and everything. It was not stupid. It didn't make you laugh your head off because he's wearing a big suit and then there's a submarine fight. It actually felt dangerous and really like tense, don't you think?
It really did. Everything about that sequence felt tense. But he knew how to build tension. You can tell all the way through the movie. It's a constant build of tension and release of tension, build and release all the way through the movie, and that's what makes it so compelling to watch.
I totally agree, but I'm saying your line now. I totally agree with you, Chris.
You do totally agree. I'm really glad you totally agree.
So I actually do.
I'm going to give you something else to talk about.
Go on.
M on leave.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting. Bernard Lee absent for the first time in the series so far.
Yeah, well, never seen again on screen, unfortunately. Rest in peace.
Regrettably, but no Bernard Lee. Great M. But yeah, it was the first introduction of Tanner, really, wasn't it, into the on-screen.
Right.
What do we think of the Basil Fawlty stand-in that was playing Tanner in this film? What do we think of him?
I wasn't too bothered. He was fine. What do you think? You sound like you've got views.
Very minor, let's be honest, very minor in the role. He's clearly a stand-in at the last second. I don't recognise the actor. Maybe you guys can tell me in the chat if he's been in anything else. I didn't recognise him from anything else. So,
well, I've got the Internet Movie Database up.
But say he could have just been plucked out of the out the cleaner's cupboard at the last minute, for all I know. But
no, it looks like he's quite a journeyman actor, but like it doesn't look like there was a lot of big things that you'd know him from.
The credibility is quite low. Yeah, he wasn't bad. He just didn't really add a lot to the plot. He was just a fill-in to shout at Bond every now and again. However, what's his name? Gray, the minister.
Yeah, Jeffrey Keen's character, the Ministry of Defence.
I do like how there was a scene where I think it was after the Villa fight, and he got away in the CV2. He was saying about how he was meant to question Gonzalez, not kill him. You know. And it's Frederick Gray going, You remember? That does make me smile because I quite like Frederick Gray, to be honest with you. He's a good character.
Yeah, I do too. I do.
He's got familiarity with Bond from the Navy days. You can tell that, can't you? You know, so he's probably a little bit embarrassed that Bond's been a bit foolish in this particular assignment, you know?
For those of you that aren't aware, Bernard Lee got stomach cancer and was just too ill to film his scenes and sadly passed away during the filming of the movie. Such a shame.
Big tragedy.
He didn't get one last sort of sign off as M. But I think that this really does solidify the argument that the Minister of Defence takes over the role of M rather than being recast as M.
Yes, and I think I like the idea that you picked up on. It was having the next M being Admiral Hargreaves effectively taking over. I quite like that from The Spy Who Loved Me. So I quite play into that idea. And I like the fact, yes, they didn't just make this the new M. It was M's on leave, Tanner's in the office. I quite like that.
Cubby Broccoli actually said that he didn't want to recast M, and that's why they said he was on leave, and they rewrote a lot of his scenes to be Q scenes. or like, you know, dished out his lines a little bit and rewrote them and stuff like that. But he actually said,
right.
so I really do think it should be canon that, you know, I don't think it's a silly pipe dream. I really do think
No, it
that
makes
they
a lot of
want us
sense.
to believe he's the same character, the Minister of Defence. I really do.
I'm sounding like Frederick Gray here, aren't I?
You
that's
totally
right.
agree.
I totally agree with you, Chris. We have to get this on the replay one day. Yeah, I feel like it's a smart move to not recast him and to pay some tribute to the heritage that will go forward into the next films, because obviously he's obviously the new M in the Dalton and the end of the Roger Moore era as well.
Yep.
So it's a really good nod, personally, for me. Yeah.
Before we do get to the ending sequence, is there any other elements of the movie that we've not touched upon that you want to talk about?
But I am gripped by the ending sequence. I've got to tell you now. That was let's talk about it then. Just we can see it on the screen there. You know, was it Saint Cyro's? Am I right in saying?
Honestly, I think that's where the house landed at the end of Up.
You've got me on that one.
It really does look like it.
Hang on, I'm just gonna.
What was it? Something falls or something.
Right, I'm just gonna take it back for 1 second.
Honestly,
and just visualize right.
Paradise Falls, I think it was called.
That. It's a rather big house.
That's the mountain where it landed. I'm sure. I swear.
Before we do, we've had a quick question from Mark the Collector saying, so did we like Topol as Midas Columbo? Clearly not the detective, obviously. The character. I did.
It'd have been the detective. It'd have been Peter Falk playing him. That'd have been amazing.
He was a brilliant ally to Bond. Really, I could see them actually being friends past the movie, to be honest with you. You know.
Yeah. So, you really could.
But yeah, in simple answer, Mark, yeah, I loved him. I think he was brilliant. But yeah, on to Cinceros. Can I bring you, Chris, to the climb first?
The climb is the best bit. Please bring me to the climb.
Right. So, I mean, look, this is the cleverest blend of directing I've ever seen, to be honest with you, because what I've noticed is that, so when Roger Moore's evidently doing this sort of like close-ups and maybe a dash of green screen and all that, there is clearly a lot of moments where he is actually hanging from a rope, not necessarily off that cliff, but he is hanging from some height. So I respect the fact that clearly they're not going to send him right up the cliff because he's the star. They can't lose him. They'll stunt double him. But it was so convincingly done. I genuinely would believe, looking at that, if somebody told me, without me looking, that Roger Moore climbed that cliff face, I would actually be half convinced, to be honest. I don't know about you.
It was so compelling and it was so believable. And I think it ranks it's second only to the jump at the beginning of Spy Love Me as the greatest stunt in Bond movie history for me, because it is a stunt man. It's not a doll. That's a bloke on a rope, falling off a mountain.
You know who that doll was, though, don't you? Really, the guy that he kills at the top.
Yeah.
that was the weirdest sex doll I've ever seen falling off a cliff, if I'm being honest.
The thing where the guy falls and then they're like, "Who is that?" and then they just roll him over and he's just got like a little scratch on his face. I was like,
he's not smashed to pieces.
He'd be minced beef by now. And it's like, there's a tiny little bit of blood on him.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get him a plaster. Oh no, he's dead.
He's dead. No, he had a heart attack.
I thought it was quite well handled, but the tension, he's trying to cut the rope on Roger Moore's Bond, and the way it's dropping down little by little. I think it shows Bond with a bit of his sort of SAS and Navy training, because they would have had to abseil and climb and all that sort of stuff. So it shows that it's Bond without the gadgets. He could possibly die here. It's possible, but he figures his way out with a shoelace. I mean, that's brilliant. I think that's really, really clever to leverage himself back up the rope. I think that's brilliant.
I'm also going to say, like, I don't know why, but I have this like kind of like in my head. The idea of like carabiners on like against like holding weight and that being a tense moment in a movie, like, is the carabiner gonna give out, is the rope gonna snap? That tension is so palpable in this scene, even when the guy's not trying to
kill him,
kill him,
not it.
Rattle and strain. It really reminds me of really vividly In Cliffhanger, they do the same thing. If you've seen Cliffhanger with Sylvester
Oh,
Stallone,
yeah. Oh, yes. It kind
But,
of
like,
echoes the tone.
just that,
yeah.
that kind of tense. And I even remember it from Die Hard, where like sorry, where like John McClane is hanging from like the AK-47 in the tunnel, and you see like the carabiner breaking and the strap. I don't know why. I just get that like thing, that moment in a movie just gets me stressed every time.
I don't, you
Sorry,
can feel
I've
your
gone off
heart
onto a
pound.
ramble.
No, but you can feel your heart pound while you're watching
Yeah.
it. I do. I completely get it, and I suppose that's answer to your previous question that John Glenn's directing was done so well. It created that tension to it really. But I love how it's constantly silent. There's no score. There's nothing. It's just open.
No,
Maybe the gentle
nothing.
whistle of the wind and barely any speech and
Feel the
everything.
isolation of being up there with him, don't you?
Yeah, I hear the wind whistling through the caverns, and then we had the dove, wasn't it? The dove flies out ever so briefly, and I think it's done so well. However, that bit where he does the knife throw, because Bond was an expert knife thrower, that was one of his in his CV if you look at it online. So the fact that he used a knife throw was brilliant, and it was like Bond is just like on par, and you hear that dum 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 dum. I was like, I'm loving it, mate.
It's so good.
Loving it. My smile got wider. Put it that way.
Oh, I bet.
You know.
But we get up to the top of the mountain, and we're at St. Cyril's monastery, and the collector's pointing out how unpleasant it was filming there. So I don't know if you know a lot of the backstory behind it.
I actually don't. Enlighten me. I'd like to know this.
So like there were some monks that lived there, and they really protested the filming there, and it went back and forth, and I think it went for a legal challenge as well. And in the end, it got found that they basically they had no control in the end over filming outside of the monastery. So they weren't allowed to film inside the monastery, but they had nothing. So as the collector's pointing out, like they hung dirty bedding out in protest to try and ruin the scenes.
Can you imagine though? I mean, but do you know what? The fact is, they've got a good budget for this film. You know, they're not going to stop for some monks' protests. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. You know, from there for you. Can I take you then to what is potentially one of the sort of like tense fights, because we have the moment where they overpower the guards. Up there, and they fall through the stained glass window.
Oh, it's so good, right? It's so
good.
Good.
It was sort of, we almost forgot the henchman, but we get the chance to see Eric Kriegler. What's the blonde guy?
Krieger, something like that.
Kriegler, yeah, he was the East German champion from the ski bit, wasn't it? But he's like, suddenly we find out this guy's actually made of metal, you know, because Bond's punches and knees go into it, and all you hear is a crunch. You're like, okay, is he another Jaws? You know, done very well though. I enjoy that fight scene. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I think there's something. I'll be honest. There's something a little underwhelming about the ending for me.
Go on.
Maybe it's just because there is no climactic set piece, and that's obviously what they're trying to get away from. The climb itself is an incredible spectacle, but it is still more understated than the endings to a lot of recent Bond movies that we'll have seen, especially Roger Moore Bond movies.
I do echo that actually, but I like the reappearance of Gogol. It was nice to see General Gogol again,
wasn't it? It's great
for
to
his
see
second
Gogol. He
appearance.
was in it.
You know, I do like the reoccurrence of him and the fact that we get a little bit of continuity into Dalton with him as well. It's quite nice to have that. So Gogol's quite a nice character, but I do love. I love the fact that he's basically Italy in World War II. He 1 minute he's on Bond's side, then he's against Bond, then he likes Bond, then he hates Bond, then he sends assassin to kill Bond, then he likes him again.
Yeah, then he retires and he's like, "Oh, we're best mates."
Yeah, he's like, Bezzy's like that. Yeah, it just felt a bit weird.
I think when I'm talking about the ending being a little bit low, I feel like one of my main negatives about the movie, and there aren't many, is that maybe it feels a bit too low stakes. Like I feel like the course correct in it.
I get the underwhelming feel. I do get that. There's no
plot is not the best.
World.
Yeah. The plot is not the best in this one. I feel like it's a bit like with Tomorrow Never Dies, where they're after the nuclear code device. I can't remember what it was called now.
Yes, yeah. I
get Knock List out of my head, which was from Mission Impossible. But anyway. But anyway, yeah, it's a little bit like that, isn't it? Where like they're just after a device that can help them with
destabilize and stuff.
So-
It's not like it's a nuclear bomb about to go off and all that sort of stuff, and the world will get destroyed. It does have a low stakes feel, but I do kind of get to the end of the movie, and I feel like I just want to sometimes have a deep breath. You just go, oh, so kind of in a strange way that does pass off quite well. But I get it. A Bond movie should have a high stakes feel. I can stand it.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a personal preference thing. I think it's a great film, and some people probably resonated even more with a more lower stakes plot. I didn't, but yeah.
But in fairness, we do go off on a high stakes area, Chris. If you think about it, because once all the action's kicked off, Maggie Thatcher. Go on, tell me.
No,
that's fine. That's size of the lot.
This is my least favorite part of the movie, mate. It feels like an SNL sketch. It feels like Morecambe and Wise. It's like it's so bad, and I don't hate it. It's my least favorite part of the movie. I'm sorry. I'm going to go on a rant about this, especially when Dennis walks on in frame. He looks he looks
unnecessary
in makeup. It's so bad.
I thought it was Jim Broadbent for 1 minute. Oh, sorry.
It does look like Jim Broadbent. It just looks like an actor who's on SNL and they've gone, well, you need to put this costume on and walk out and eat a grape really creepily. And he does.
I think that's... So is it fair to say that For Your Eyes Only is a great film, but it has a little bit of a bittersweet at the end? Is that probably a good analogy?
For me, it does. I mean, you tell me, do you like that Margaret Thatcher scene?
I will put it down to ish. Not really, but I'll take it.
That's fine. That's
that sort of thing
and I'm sure that's probably how most people view it. God, I was like, what is this? And she's talking to a parrot, and Q's talking to a parrot, and they all think it's James Bond.
Yeah, Bond. Yeah.
Well,
it's sort of...
because when you're in the military and you speak to somebody and you're confirming that it's them just saying their name like a parrot twice is quite, that's fine. Yeah, that's
Mark on Facebook just said that was quite a painful moment, actually.
I'm not the only one. Yeah. Thanks, Mark, mate. It's not great.
It's an acquired taste. Let's be honest.
Fine. It's my least favorite part of the movie. It's one of my least favorite parts of the Roger Moore Bond era.
It is. I mean, this is the crucial bit, though, isn't it? Because we have to rank. Am I right in saying that we have to rank the film?
We do have to rank the film now. We have to, unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
No, I think we've summarised it into a real good place.
I like bring it up, or
yeah, go for it. Well, let's have a look for you. So if you're on to where we do rank the films out of 10, we've done every single one, and we're now sort of getting into really sketchy territory, aren't we?
Yeah, and I just want to say to people, like, I know people sometimes comment on our scores. These are not. We don't think The Man with the Golden Gun is a 5.5 out of 10 out of all movies. We're trying to like place it where, in the scheme of other Bond movies. So like that's why some of our scores are really high and some are lower. We love all Bond movies.
But we are getting victimised in our own success because we've watched them cinematically in order. Therefore, we started, if you look at like From Russia with Love and Goldfinger, which are good films, of course, we've gone straight in with the high scores, haven't we? But then we're kind of going, actually, we need to step back and understand these scores a bit more. Now we're looking at our past to determine the future scores. It's quite hard.
So I'll go first because I know you love this movie. So I'm looking at The Spy Who Loved Me as a 9 for me, and A Live and Let Die as an 8.5.
Okay,
and I think this falls third for me in the pantheon of Roger Moore Bond movies. So I think this movie, for me, is a solid 8 out of 10. That's
fair. I mean, look, if I'm honest, I'm edging into the 8 territory myself, but I'm going to go precise here, Chris. I'm going to go with an 8.8.
Oh, so Spy Love Me beats it.
Double eights. Yeah, Spy Love Me does beat me on the score. However, again, we're looking at the fact that we're watching them in order. I'm
not angry with that. I'm glad
I'm going to go with that one from there for you.
It's a great movie.
I would always love to watch those two films in the Roger Moore era, to be honest with you. So yeah, 8.8 and an 8 from you, mate.
And do you know what? I actually think that the run of Spy Love Me, Moonraker, and
well, Hang on, hold the press, Chris.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It was just it just caught me off guard.
I'm going to even stop the music. Mark, you are bang on, my friend. Right, we need to stop for a second. Lock's Kill. Sorry, how could we skirt past this moment?
Yeah, we did skirt past it. We've been rubbish. Sorry, guys.
We got so caught up on this, right? So, by all means, put this in the chat if you want as well. What do you think of Lock's Kill, Chris? How about you? What do you feel?
It's great. It's brutal. It's Roger Moore when he gets serious, he really does commit, and he's believable in that kind of cold-blooded killer way when you wouldn't think that he would be. And it's such a good kill, in the car down the mountain. I love it.
Yeah. It does, and the fact that he's running up the mountain and he catches them on multiple layers and everything. It is one of the coldest moments. I think it's up there with,
kill, isn't it? We're talking about.
Yes, on the cliff face. And I feel like it's probably up there with Connery murdering Professor Dent and Daniel Craig murdering Dryden at the beginning of Casino Royale. I think it's in that sort of territory. Did you think that's?
I agree. I agree. It does give me that cold-blooded. Professor Dent is a really good shout. He doesn't have to be that cold. It's almost like you don't actually need to kill him. You're already in that position.
But he killed Luigi, which is the man that he knew virtually not at all, and decided to call back to that. So, maybe weak there. But I do love it, and it's definitely one of Bond's darker moments in general.
Yeah, there's probably more fun kills, but it's definitely the best kill. It's definitely the most brutal.
Agreed. Sorry, guys. How could we do that?
I also, I know that Mark brought it up earlier, the collector brought it up earlier, that Charles Dance was in the film as well. And did you see the Charles Dance cameo? When he as Klaus,
I missed it.
During the ski sequence. Yeah. Charles Dance was in it. So
is it? Sorry, is he the guy with the wine bottle?
I can't remember if it was the guy with the. No. He was one of the villains. It was one of the henchmen, wasn't he?
I'm totally missing. No, I'll have to look back at it. I can't believe I missed it. My mind has gone blank on that front. No, I'll have to look at that one.
Favorite Charles Dance movie? In the comments, give us your favorite Charles Dance movie. Mine is Last Action Hero.
I can't believe I've missed the fact that Charles Dance was in it. So sorry, guys. From there,
and him and Julian Glover were both in Game of Thrones together as well. They're both.
God, they were. Yeah. My God, this is just cameo central, isn't it? This movie.
Yeah, it is. It's like there's so many Bond movies that like start off the careers of like. Actors like they were like minor henchmen in a Bond movie, like Dolph Lundgren and Benicio del Toro, and I can't think of any others now, but there are others.
Pop it in the comments, guys. By the way, what do you rank for Your Eyes Only? What is your out of 10 score? It'd be interesting to see what you guys think. And I do regret to tell you that our poll unfortunately didn't work. The technology has failed, so we'll give it a good kick and we'll try and get it working next time. I apologise. But I think it's mostly good feedback. But you might say otherwise. What is it out of 10 for you lot?
Can I bring in? I want to propose a feature for every Bond review after this.
Go for it.
I've got one for this one, so I'm not going to put you on the spot. But I think we should do our favourite quote from the movie.
Favorite quote. Oh, that's interesting. Favorite quote.
I noted mine down because I don't expect you to just pull one out of the air.
No, I will. My favourite quote, actually, right? It's a bit like it's the casino scene when Chris starts comes up and goes, "Oh, lucky night," and he went, "If you play the odds."
Yeah, I love that quote. I love it. So I think we should do this for every Bond movie now. It's like, what was your favourite quote from the movie? So I'm going to give you mine, and it is obviously from the confessional scene where Bond says, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned," and Q goes, "That's pretty good."
I like it. Yeah. Okay, that's a segment. That's now going to be in every subsequent video.
Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it?
I like it, mate. We'll
finish off with our favourite quote.
Brilliant. Before we do, we've got some comments on the actual chat here. So Mark Simmons Miller has gone for 8.5 in the 8 territory.
Yeah,
which is
Mark,
interesting.
we're right there with you, mate. It's a great Bond movie.
I don't know if the collector's asking us out or he's quoting his comment, his favourite quote. But,
I'd like to think that he's being really friendly.
Yeah, we really appreciate watching our review.
So, I mean, I think we're there with that. I really, really enjoyed this movie, and maybe I'm a little a little bit of trepidation moving into the next one because Octopussy's not one of my favourites. So hopefully it'll surprise me.
Do you know, it's weird watching it the way we're doing it, and hopefully, guys, if you join this journey with us now, Octopussy will be at some point in May, maybe around just before First Light, of course, because we want to cover that at the end of the month. Yeah. But take the time, watch Octopussy randomly, and make notes about the film as you go along. Pick up on points and see if you watch it with a different eye vision that you did before. It really is an interesting concept to watch these films. It's almost like our second job now, isn't it, Chris, in a way? Watch the film.
Look, you know what? I just do it for the love of the game, mate. I don't want it to be a chore. I wish we got paid like it was our second job. But, I know I really love doing this. I can't wait to come back next month and review. It could be the worst Bond movie ever, and I don't care. I just love doing this with you. And
or just come and sit with us and have a laugh. Talk to us about it. You know,
I love having everyone come on and give us some comments as well.
Yeah.
Mike, before we wrap this up, is there anything you want to plug, mate?
Yeah, let me just say thank you for all the comments tonight. We've got obviously Mark, Lorenzo. For those of you on Facebook or even YouTube, please just hit the like or the subscribe button, join the channel, follow our community. We're seeing growth, and it's really, really good to see the sort of like the building up the hill that we're getting onto. It's wonderful. We didn't think we'd even get one person watching us, so we're really, really pleased that it's more than that. And that was the more part of our more segment, more movies. I'm going to try what I can. And lastly, 29th April. One, it's my birthday, but secondly, we are going to be playing the second to last part of Everything or Nothing. It's coming up, penultimate, and we're going to get there before First Light hits your screens. So this is like the build up to First Light. It'd be interesting. But apart from that, thank you for watching us. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, so I echo everything you've said. I'm really pleased with everyone that's joined us on this journey. If you're not already, if you're watching us on Facebook, jump over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a follow on Facebook. We also have an Instagram. If you are, on the gram, go and give us a follow there as well. And I really do think we'll try and get onto some podcasting platforms soon as well, so that you can listen to us in the car, everywhere, on the toilet, anywhere you want to listen to us. Other than that, I on my Geek Figure Fan channel, I've just done a video review of a can't get the name out. It was basically a third party 1/12 scale figure of Daniel Craig's Bond. And I really like it. If you want to watch that, go over to my channel on Geek Figure Fan and you can watch that. Other than that, that's it, mate.
Fantastic. Well, it is to say one more thing, Chris.
Yes, apologies. You have been watching the Bondcast.
The ultimate Bondcast. See you next time. Bye.